Hey everyone, are you ready to dive into something kind of crazy today? We're going to be looking at AI companions and not just the basic chatbots, but the ones that are designed to be friends and confidants, maybe even, I don't know, even more than that. And the script we're looking at today is called The Rise of AI Companions: Love, Ethics, and Loneliness. And let me tell you, it gets pretty intense.
Yeah, this is a really interesting topic, and it's not really science fiction anymore. Companies like Replica and XAI are already making these AI companions that can have some pretty in-depth conversations and even remember stuff you've told them, like personal details and things. And yeah, they can even flirt with you.
It's kind of wild, right? I mean, millions of people are downloading these apps, especially after, the pandemic and everything, when so many of us were feeling really isolated. I'm curious, have you ever actually tried one of these AI companion apps?
I haven't, personally, but this script talks about how these AI companions use natural language processing and machine learning to basically learn from all your interactions, and they become more personalized over time.
So they're not just spitting out pre-programmed responses, they're actually adapting to you. That's pretty impressive, but also a little bit creepy. I don't know, but why are these things so popular all of a sudden?
Well, the script connects it to this whole loneliness thing that's been going on,
Yeah.
and the U.S. Surgeon General has even called loneliness an epidemic and said it's as bad for you as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow, I had no idea it was that serious. So AI is stepping in to fill that void.
In a way, yeah. I mean, AI offers constant companionship without any judgment or
Man.
worrying about being ghosted. And for people who are struggling with loneliness, that's a huge deal.
I get that, but the script goes even further. It talks about people forming deep attachments to these AI companions, even having symbolic weddings. So is this real love, or is it just some kind of illusion created by algorithms?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Psychologically, love is super complex, and these AI companions are designed to mirror your desires and give you that feeling of being understood and cherished, which are key parts of love.
So they're tapping into our need for connection, but is it actually genuine on their part? I mean, does it even matter if it feels real to the person?
That's where things get really interesting. The script dives into that question, what are the implications of love between a human and an AI? Can an algorithm really feel love back?
This is where I get a little skeptical. Can an AI really understand the depth of human emotion? Imagine someone using an AI companion to cope with the death of a loved one, like they talk about in this script with Sarah. Can an algorithm actually understand what grief is?
That's a really good point. And the script doesn't shy away from those tough questions. It talks about this woman, Sarah, who lost her husband and created an AI version of him using his old messages. And it brings up all these questions about grief and the ethics of using AI this way and whether it's actually helping people cope or not. Makes you think, huh, is using AI to deal with grief a good thing? Or is it just stopping us from moving on? This script really gets into these human stories. It's fascinating how people are using AI to cope with loneliness and loss, even to explore parts of themselves they might not, normally.
It's almost like AI is this safe space where you can experiment with relationships and emotions without all the messy stuff that comes with real life.
Like a relationship simulator, right?
Yeah.
You can try out different dynamics and see how it feels.
That's an interesting thought, but wouldn't that lead to some pretty fake interactions? If you're dealing with an AI that's programmed to always agree with you and make you feel good, are you missing out on the real stuff, like the difficult but ultimately rewarding parts of connecting with actual humans?
That's a huge question a lot of people are asking right now is the connection you feel with an AI, even if it's, made by an algorithm, still a valuable thing. Can it actually give you comfort, even if it's not as deep as human interaction?
Maybe it just depends what you're looking for, right? Some people want those deep, complex connections, while others just need to feel like they have someone who's always there for them. And AI seems to be pretty good at that.
It's a spectrum for sure, and it seems like AI companions are finding their place on that spectrum. They're not necessarily replacing human relationships entirely,
Yeah.
but they're giving people another option, one that appeals to different needs.
And as AI gets even more advanced, that line's going to get even blurrier.
Totally. The script even talks about a future where AI companions are so advanced they're basically like humans in the way they talk, and even seem to have emotions.
That's kind of exciting, but also kind of scary. What does that even mean for what it means to be human? What makes us unique if AI can do all that?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If AI can replicate human connection, well, what does that say about us?
Feels like we're on the edge of a whole new world for relationships where the real and the virtual are completely mixed up.
We're in uncharted territory here.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but also a little daunting. But, even with all these unknowns, the script does point out some positive possibilities for AI companionship.
You mean how AI could actually help our human relationships? I'm curious about that.
Right. Remember that idea of AI acting as a relationship coach?
Yeah.
The script suggests that AI could help couples work through arguments or just communicate better. So instead of replacing human connection, it could actually make it stronger.
That's a really cool idea. It's like having a therapist for your relationship always there to give you advice.
Exactly. AI could help us see patterns in our behavior and understand our partner's point of view better and just communicate in a healthier way.
So maybe AI companionship isn't about replacing human connection, but more about understanding it better.
I like that by looking at how we interact with AI companions, we might actually learn something about our own needs and how we relate to other people.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror, showing us things about ourselves we might not see otherwise. So we've talked about the good and the bad, the ethical stuff, the impact on real people. But the main thing I'm getting from all this is that AI companionship is something we all need to be talking about.
For sure, we can't just let this technology develop without really thinking about what it means for our relationships, our sense of self, and society as a whole.
We have to ask the tough questions, look at all sides, and have open conversations about what role we want AI to play in our lives. This isn't just about the future of AI, it's about the future of human connection itself.
And that's something that affects every single one of us. But it's not just about the future, is it? What about people's experiences right now? Have you ever interacted with an AI companion?
Not yet, but I'm definitely curious. After this conversation, it would be fascinating to hear what our listeners think. Have you guys tried any of these AI apps? What was it like? Did you find it helpful? Creepy? Tell us about it in the comments. We're all trying to figure this out together.
Your experiences and thoughts are really valuable as we navigate this new world. But even with all this talk about the present and the future, there's one last question from the script that I keep coming back to.
Ooh, lay it on me.
The script asks, what does this growing desire for AI companionship say about human connection in our world right now?
That's a deep one. It makes you wonder if AI is just a symptom of a bigger problem. Like we're all craving connection in a world that feels more and more isolating.
It's like AI companions are filling a void, and that void is telling us something about the state of human connection in our society. It makes you wonder, what can we do to address that and build a stronger sense of belonging in our own lives?
That goes way beyond AI and tech, doesn't it? It's about what it means to be human and live in a world where connection matters.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some of those ideas even further.
So we're talking about this void in human connection, right? And how AI seems to be like stepping in to fill it. It makes you wonder what's causing that void in the first place.
Yeah, that's what we got to figure out, right? We can't
Yeah.
just look at AI on its own. We have to think
Mhm.
about what's happening in society that's making people so desperate for connection, even if it's from a computer program.
It's like we're more connected digitally than ever before, but we're also like way more lonely. It's weird.
Totally. And the script talks about some of the things that are contributing to this.
Hmm.
Like more people living in cities and working crazy hours, and the fact that traditional communities are kind of fading away, and of course, social media.
Oh, yeah. Social media is a big one, right? It's supposed to connect us, but it often feels like it just makes things worse. Like you're always comparing yourself to other people's perfect lives online, and it can leave you feeling kind of empty.
That's the irony, right? It's like a breeding ground for loneliness. And in that kind of environment, it's easy to see why an AI companion who's always there for you no matter what starts to look pretty good.
Yeah, I can see that, but the script also makes it clear that AI companionship isn't like a magic solution, right?
Definitely not. I mean, while AI can provide a sense of companionship and support, it's not the same as having real human connections.
That's the key takeaway. I think AI might be able to like copy certain parts of human interaction, but it can't replace the real thing.
Exactly. It just doesn't have that depth,
Yeah.
those shared experiences, the vulnerability, and ultimately the growth that you get from going through the ups and downs of real relationships with other people.
And like, even though an AI might be able to say all the right things, it's not the same as feeling truly understood by another person who actually gets you and your experiences and your emotions. It's like the difference between reading about something and actually experiencing it.
100%. AI might give you a simulation, but it can't give you that full richness of human connection.
So what do we do? If AI companionship is both a reflection of this loneliness epidemic and maybe making it worse, how do we actually fix it?
Well, I think it starts with recognizing how important genuine human connections are and making an effort to nurture those connections. We need to prioritize spending time with people face to face, quality time with the people we care about, and putting ourselves out there to build new relationships.
Like, put down the phones, get off the screens, and actually engage with the world and the people around us. You know, join a club, volunteer, even just strike up a conversation with someone new. It all makes a difference.
And I think it's also about being more aware of what we're taking in online. You know,
Yeah.
are we letting social media tell us how we should feel about ourselves and our relationships? It's about finding that balance between the digital world and the real world.
Yeah, totally. It's about using technology to make our lives better, not to isolate us
Yeah.
even more. AI can be a useful tool, but we have to be smart about it.
I completely agree. We have the power to decide how we want AI to shape our lives and our relationships.
This deep dive has been a wild ride. I've learned so much about AI companionship, but even more about how important real human connection is.
It's been great exploring this with you, and I think the main takeaway for me is that even in this world where technology is everywhere, it's those human connections that really matter most.
So true. What do you all think about this? Have you tried any of these AI companion apps? How is technology affecting your relationships? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Your thoughts and experiences are so important as we all try to figure this out together.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of AI companions. It's a topic that's definitely going to keep changing, so stay curious and keep exploring.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Until next time, stay connected.